Welcome to a video from TheDigitalLifestyle.com. In this video I'm going to show you how I recreated Funeral for a Friend by Elton John on the ARP 2600 plugin from Korg. First of all, I want to say that these files that I'm playing, the actual music files, I got from a MIDI track that I downloaded. I don't want to claim credit for the brilliant playing on there, and I'm going to go through all the sounds in a minute, but this is where I got that download from, so I just wanted to give credit to that. Then what I've done is I've set up a number of instances of the 2600, created those patches, and then recreated this brilliant track. I know I'm talking all over it at the moment, but I'll play it fully without talking at the end and probably do a separate video. So what I wanted to do now was explain how I created those sounds. So before we go into it, I just wanted to mention how this track was made. It was made on an ARP 2500 modular synthesizer by David Hetchel, who was the producer. This is a monophonic synth, so he overdubbed it track after track to make this which is really impressive. When you think that all those big chords are in there, all done with a single note at a time in a monophonic synth. That's definitely I've got a lot easier using these files. So it's a really impressive achievement that I think all that's done with a monophonic synth and track after track. So the 2600, which I'm using here, is the sort of the next synth along from the 2500. That was modular. This is semi-modular, which means that some of the modulation of the routing is normalized. What do I mean by that? Is here you can see on the mixer, oscillator 1 has got a square wave normalized. So what that means is that you don't have to patch oscillator 1 if you want a square wave, because it's already routed to this fader. But if I play it now, that's the default. So we don't want that. So what we do want is that sort of soft brass sound. So we can patch the Sawtooth instead, and I'm going to use 2, I think, of those. So now we've got 2. Getting close. But what we're going to do is turn the filter down. We don't need to route the output because that's normalized. So there's the filter. And I'm going to slow the attack, have a bit of decay and a bit of release. So that sounds better now. And these 3 tracks are playing that. So that's soft brass sound there. Probably take that down a little bit. We could add some effects on it if we wanted to. So a bit of compression. And I think I don't think we need any chorus. I think we'll keep it in mono, and we'll have a bit of reverb on it. Okay, so that's the brass one done. So the next one is the string. I've got an initial patch for that one. I'm going to put it into poly mode. For the strings, I'm going to use Sawtooth like we did for the brass, and then just control the envelopes a bit. So we've got 2 on there. Let's have a listen to that. I'm going to detune it slightly, just have 1 ever so slightly. So the second oscillator, I've just detuned it slightly. Now this time we want the filter, effects of the filter. I'm going to turn that down. So I'm going to use the envelope. I'm just going to increase the attack time and the release time on this the VCA. That's okay. I'm going to give us a bit of chorus, a bit of tape echo, and some reverb. Turn that down a bit. Okay, there's our string. Now, what I also did when I created. So what else I'm going to do is put a bit of vibrato on that strings, but I'm going to use a delayed one. So I'm going to apply it to the 2 oscillators. In fact, what we could do, I'm also going to apply it to the 3rd, because I'm going to include the 3rd oscillator as well with a bit of tuning slightly. That with a little vibrato and a bit of delay. So let's just draw them like that. So let's give that a try. Yeah, that's better. So here's a patch I use for the wind sound. It's actually a modification of the wind sound that I created for Shine On You Crazy Diamond, which is available in my other pack, the Volume 1 set. I'm using the noise to forget these aren't actually in use, so I can take those out. So let's have a listen to the wind effect. What I did on this one, I've got an ADS, I've got the filter with the noise generator. So and I've put the motion sequencer on, and this is setting the levels of the filter. So the filter is being opened by the sequencer, and the noise is the only oscillators, no other the oscillators, just the noise, and that's how you get that simple wind effect. So for the bell sound, turn the ring modulator fully up, and I've applied this ADSR envelope to a little bit of pitch enveloping on VCO1. So I've got the ring mod volume coming straight in, and I've got a little bit of VCO3, and I just played about with these tunings. So that one's tuned 21, that one's tuned 20, and that one's tuned lower, just at 0. So just to play about with these frequencies until you get the right sort of sound. So there's just a pure tone of the ring mod, and I just introduced that. So there we've got the bell. So the ring mod, if I turn that down, well, you won't hear anything because it's not got the ring mod too, but if you hear the oscillators, there you can hear the oscillators, and I did use a ring modulator in the effects as well. Without that, you can still hear it because of the way that I've tuned it, just tuned it off key. So there's the bell sound without the ring modulator. There's with it on. So that's the bell. Right, so now we get to the next part of it. That big Sawtooth part. Okay, so this is the big brass sound. Same as the other brass sounds, got 3 Sawtooth waves, all with a bit of tuning on them. That one's 0, that one's at 0.6, and that was at 10. So just to give a bit of separation. And then I've used this ADSR envelope in this case just to add a bit of pitch to oscillator 3, so there's a slight bit of pitching on oscillator 3. I've put the effects on, and then to get that fade-in effect, what I did, so if you go over to the mod matrix, what you can see is I set CC11 to be the frequency, the initial frequency of the VCF. It's really easy to do that. You just choose, I want that one, and you add MIDI routing, and then you just pick what CC you want it to be. So in the MIDI file it was on 11, so that's what I've chosen. So when we get to this part, you should hear it fade in. So you hear the stepping on it, You don't hear it so much in the final mix. The stepping is the MIDI stepping. I could add more steps in there and it would be a smoother transition, or I could use the mod wheel manually, and then it continues with that bright brass part. So the next sound that gets introduced is this sort of lead sound. So the next sound that gets introduced is this lead sound. So what I've done for this one, I've gone same method. I've got a Sawtooth. In fact, I took the soft brass one. It's only actually using one oscillator, so you can sort of forget that one. It's just using one oscillator. And then I've set some delayed LFO on there. So the output of the delayed LFO to the control, the frequency modulation control of the oscillators. In fact, it's only using this one, isn't it? And then I've put a bit of delay and a bit of depth on there. So when we come to that one, you hear that. You hear that delayed vibrato on there. So the next one is this Fanfare brass sound. Well, it sounded like that to me, so. So what I did for that one, I took the soft brass sound before and just up the ADSR on there, just trim that envelope to give that brighter sound. So it's pretty easy. You can go from the soft brass sound like this. So if I do it with the soft brass sound, and then just up that. So just up that there like that, and that gives you that nice brass sound. So then this comes together quite nicely. And then that's where the piano kicks in. So it was actually pretty easy to recreate, which is not surprising given that it's with a similar synth, the 2600 as opposed to 2500. But actually you could recreate this on any synth that has Sawtooth waves on it, because they're pretty much all Sawtooth waves. So any poly synth, or you could do it the really hard way like David Hetchell did, and did it note by note, monophonic note by note on a mono synth. But if you're going to do that yourself, good luck, because that's an impressive achievement. So all these sounds that I've created there are available as a download from digitallifestyle.com, so you can try them yourself. If you want to have a go at doing this yourself on a mod wave or mini log or whatever, you can on any synth. If you want to have a go at doing this on any synth, then I'd love to hear how you get on with it. So leave a comment if you've tried it on one of your synths. But download these sounds from digitallifestyle.com, and thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.